We all know that this war in Ukraine has gotten way too much of our money, the same money that we are forced to contribute out of our paychecks, or at the end of the year. If we do not, we get arrested. Never mind the fact that we don't even have enough money to pay our own debts. Never mind somebody else's debt. But neglecting that for 1 second, where exactly is all of this money going? And is it towards the war, or is it straight to Zelensky, who is using it to pay for luxury items with his wife in Paris? Let's find out.
Facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
For as long as I can remember, Ukraine has always been known to be a laundromat type of a country where you would just send money to one person in the country and then the government would just come and take it just because of the fact that they can. Just because the government can does not mean that they should, and that is just the first case in Ukraine. They have always acted this way, and they always will. Our senators and congressmen send money to Ukraine with our tax dollars, then Ukraine turns around and uses it to contribute to their campaign, which is the most corrupt thing that anybody can do. I'm not just making this stuff up too. We can see that according to OCCRP.org, the Russian laundromat, a large multi-billion-dollar money laundering machine uncovered last year by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, OCCRP, used the services of several residents of a small town near Kyiv. While they controlled billions, the directors of the British and Russian companies that compromised the scheme never even knew of their power or their involvement. In 2014, the OCCRP reporters in Moldova noticed that judges in their country were issuing numerous rulings of the same kind. Russian firms and Moldovan citizens would be ordered to pay a considerable sum of money to an offshore company to settle a previous debt that they have had, guaranteed on behalf of another company. This was published in 2015, where it was widely known to be a laundromat for money laundering. But oh no, if you say that today, you are the bad guy. Now that we know that Ukraine is and always will be corrupt, we can see just why the United States representatives rushed at the opportunity to support the country. These people in the roles of power rushed because if their country they love so much because of said money laundering collapses, they will not be able to have anybody to money launder with. This causes an even bigger problem. If they do not have any other country to money launder with, then they will just lose money, and they can't have that. If you cut off their money, they will start crying as if you took a binky away from a toddler. This is why when you play a little game I like to play called Follow the Money, we can see that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, for as long as we can publicly see, started doing business in Ukraine and other foreign countries around the same time Joe Biden first became vice president. Because if you don't wield your power to make yourself more money, are you even being a government official? I'll leave that question open. Moving into the timeline of Joe Biden and Hunter Biden's influence peddling, I just want to start off by saying that this was only made available because of the House Oversight Committee, so I thank them for their hard work in the matter. So, digging right in, we can see that starting with Romania on September 28th, 2015, Vice President welcomed Romanian President Klaus Iohannis to the White House. Within 5 weeks of this meeting, a Romanian businessman involved with a high-profile corruption prosecution in Romania, Gabriel Popzovin, began depositing a Biden Associates bank account, which ultimately made their way to the Biden family accounts. Popzovitz made 16 of the 17 payments, totaling over $3 million, to the Biden Associate account, while Joe Biden was vice president. Biden family accounts ultimately received approximately $1,038,000. The total amount from Romania to Biden family and their associates is over $3 million. The next up is China. The CEFC on March 1st, 2017, less than 2 months after Vice President Joe Biden left public office, Senate Energy HK Limited, a Chinese company, wired $3 million to a Biden Associates account. This is the same bank account used in the above Romania section. After the Chinese company wired the Biden Associate account with $3 million, the Biden family received approximately $1,065,692 over 3 months in different bank accounts. Additionally, the CEFC chairman gives Hunter Biden a diamond worth $80,000. Lastly, CEFC created a joint venture with the Bidens in the summer of 2017 The timeline lays out the WhatsApp messages and subsequent wires from the Chinese to the Bidens of $100,000 and $5 million. The total amount from China, specifically with CEFC and their related entities, to the Biden family and their associates is over $8 million. That's not the only Chinese business that he used his influence to gain some wealth. He also did it with Harvest RST Equity Investment Fund Management Company, LTD. But sadly, the Oversight Committee is still looking into that one. Moving on to Kakistan, on April 22nd, 2014, Ken Ruchevs, a Kakistan oligarch, used his Singaporean entity, Nutivis Holdings, to wire one of Hunter Biden's Rosemont Seneca entities $142,300. The very next day, April 23, 2014, the Rosemont Seneca entity transferred the same amount of the money to a car dealership for a car for Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden and Devon Archer would represent Burisma in Kakistan in May/June of 2014 as the company attempted to broker a three-way deal among Burisma, the Kakistan government, and the Chinese state-owned energy company. But don't forget about Russia. Oh yeah, Joe Biden doesn't care where he has to go. He went to Russia on February 14, 2014, when a Russian oligarch and Russia's richest woman, Elena Bredorna, wired a Rosemont Seneca entity $3.5 million. On March 11, 2014, the wire was split up. $750,000 was transferred to Devon Archer, and the remainder was sent to Rosemont Seneca Bowie, a company Devon Archer and Hunter Biden split equally. In the spring of 2014, Yelena Brunina, I'm butchering that name, joined Hunter Biden and Devon Archer to share a meal with then Vice President Biden at a restaurant in Washington, D.C. The total amount from Russia to Biden family and their associates is $3.5 million. Last but not least, he visited Ukraine so his son could join the board of directors in a company called Burisma, which is an energy company. Devon Archer joined the Burisma board of directors in the spring of 2014 and was joined by Hunter Biden shortly thereafter. Hunter Biden joined the company as counsel, but after a meeting with Burisma owner Mykola Zelenski in Lake Como, Italy, was elevated to the board of directors in the spring of 2014. Both Biden and Archer was paid $1 million per year for their positions on the board of directors. In December of 2015, after a Burisma board of directors meeting, Zelensky and Hunter Biden called DC. In the wake of the mounting pressures the company was facing, Zelensky was later charged with bribing Ukrainian officials with $6 million in an attempt to delay or drop the investigation into his company. The total amount from Ukraine to the Biden family and their associates is $6.5 million. If this doesn't show that the Joe Biden and the Biden family has been doing this for years, the whole entire influence peddling to make billions of dollars for their family, but also the fact that the media is just standing by them every single day, then I don't know what will prove it. But with all of this being said, we now know the background of Ukraine and its corrupt inner workings. Let me get right into the juicy part. A little over 2 years ago, a war started in Ukraine. A lot of people say that it's over some land, but these people are wrong. They say it's like when you are 5 years old and you say, no, I want this toy, and your sister comes over and says, no, I want that toy, but only these people are not kids, they are adults. They are also in control of millions of people. Oh yeah, not to mention the missiles that the two countries have can kill off the whole entire world, but let's put that aside. I investigated why the war started, and I made a video about this years ago, but we can recap it here for you guys today. The mainstream media is partly right, and yes, I will only say this one time, but that's all the credit that they will ever get. I want to urge that partly part. When I say, quote, this started because of a territorial dispute, I can halfway see where they are coming from. Yes, the mainstream media is partly right in the aspect of Crimea being part of Russia at some point in the Russian Empire that ended with the collapse in 1917. But that's not even the biggest reason for the war. One of the biggest reasons for the war is because Putin, like he says, wants to fight Nazism. The war was also started because the United States was working with the Ukraine government to open up labs to test viruses that are level 4, the highest the virus lab can go. For those of you who do not know what a level 4 virus laboratory is, it's a lab where they test viruses that can potentially escape and cause a pandemic. But rest assured, Google's chat AI bot is here and ready to assure us that there was never a time in history where a level 4 lab was responsible for a lab leak. Oh, wait a minute. That's the lie right there. The biggest lab leak of our generation was a couple of years ago was SARS-CoV-2, but that's not even the crazy part. The craziest part is that America tried opening up one of these bad boys here, yes, in the great land of the free and the home of the brave, but people did not like it. I don't blame them. This was even secluded on a mountain somewhere that was separated from everyone else in Wyoming, and they still didn't even want to deal with the lab. Shouldn't we ask ourselves then, if it's not safe for the United States, why are we going to act shocked when other countries react scared, or at least worried about the news of this said lab coming to a town near them? Also, those of you who do not believe that we have labs in Ukraine, here are some documents that prove not just what I'm saying, but also that the United States paid big money to build these labs, not just to build them, but also to maintain them. Sadly, we have these labs all over the world. This is coming straight from the United States government. 336 biological laboratories in 30 countries around the world, including 26 in Ukraine. However, according to Igor Kirillov, I'm going to butcher his name, chief of Russia's radiation, the United States has formed a network of more than 30 biological laboratories in Ukraine. Also, according to the Global Times, why would the names of United States arms dealers appear on the contracts ordered by the United States Defense Threat Reduction Agency? The Leopard cannot change its spots, people say. Neither can Lockheed Martin, Raytheon Technologies, General Dynamics, and Metabiolito. The United States denies that Russia started invading Ukraine because of these said biolabs that are literally in their backyard. But do you trust the United States government? I know I don't, especially after the whole entire pandemic thing. They lied and continue to lie to us every single day, and every single time that little troll Dr. Fauci came on TV and started lying, he immediately started doing so. DeSantis is right. Sometimes I just want to throw him across the room. He had no clue on what he was talking about, and I'm not even the one who started that criticism. You can even see that the inventor of the PCR test was saying the same exact thing way before Dr. Fauci was mainstream. But he's not even the only problem. If you look into another place in the United States, we can see that Governor Cuomo in New York, he would just hold daily briefings about the pandemic and how it's affecting not only the older population, but also his ability to hold meetings in person so that he can look down girls' shirts and see what they have going on in there. But don't worry, he's only trying to see their necklaces. Weird old man. He's only one of the most disgusting people alive, and I'm so glad that he was recalled. He also put a bunch of sick nursing home residents with other healthy residents. As you might imagine, this caused the healthy ones to get sick and ultimately pass away. But because everyone was shut down, you couldn't even see your grandma on her last few days. So if you had to see them, you had to go behind a glass window. And if you wanted to hug them, you had to use a machine to hug them through that. But I digress. This whole situation caused them to get sick at a higher scale and didn't help the fact that they were already older and more prone to diseases. Don't even get me started on that aspect. Here are the takeaways that you all have to know. Ukraine is a money laundering laundromat for government officials who like money, so most of them. Joe Biden used his positions in government to influence peddle, which means that he got rich simply for positions in the United States government. We can also see how much of a troll Dr. Fauci is. Last but not least, we can see that the whole Ukraine situation in general was a big lie from the mainstream media to our very government officials trying to save the day with our own tax-paying money. And last but not least, we can see that their favorite country is Ukraine based on this picture alone. With all of that being said, thank you all for watching, and I hope that you actually take away some of this information and actually do some research yourself, because all of this is from publicly available websites.